Alright, so this is going to deal with multiplying mixed numbers. There are two methods that the book shows you. I prefer the second method. The first method, they show you how multiplying mixed numbers is just like multiplying whole numbers. If we took 18 times 17, well, we could break it up. I believe this would be called partial products, but they're showing it to you differently. And if you took 18 times 17, you could think of 18 as 10 and 8. So I'll show 10 and 8. And 17 you can think of as 10 plus 7. So I'm going to put 10 and 7 there. Then I could think of 10 times 10 as being 100, 10 times 8 being 80, 7 times 10 being 70, and 7 times 8 being 56. Then I take all those partial products and I add them together. And after I add them together, I get my answer, which is 306. You can do the same thing with mixed numbers. Totally on purpose, I've made two errors on this mixed numbers multiplication example. So, and this is called partial products, or it's similar, it's partial products, how you were taught it. So if I took 2 and 1/2 and I multiplied that by 4 and 1/4, I could do the same thing. I could break up the 2 1/2 into 2 plus 1/2, and I could break up the 4 and 1/4 to 4 plus 1/4. So I put the 2 over there and the half over there, the 4 there and the 1/4 there. 4 times 2 is 8. 1/2 times 4, or 1/2 of 4 is going to be 2. 1/4 of 2 is going to be 1/2. And then 1/2 times 1/4, well, 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 2 is 8. It's going to be 1/8. Then all I need to do is I need to add those partial products together to get my answer. So I take the numbers in the box and I add them together. I need a common denominator when I'm adding or subtracting fractions. And I try to get that, and you now see my first error. I wrote down the wrong two fractions. So let me erase those and fix that. And so it's 1/2 and 1/8. I need a common denominator. The common denominator would be 8. And it would be 4/8. Would be equivalent to 1/2. I add the fractions and I add the whole numbers to get my answer. Did you see the other mistake? Here's the second way for here's the second way for multiplying mixed numbers. So I take 2 and 1/2 times 4 and 1/4. I change both mixed numbers into improper fractions. Whole number times the denominator plus the numerator is the new numerator over the original denominator. Whole number times the denominator plus the numerator is the original denominator is the new one. Then I multiply those together, kind of like Rodney did. So 5 times 17 is 85, and 4 times 2 is 8. Then I take this improper fraction and turn it back into a mixed number. So 85 divided by 8, it goes in 10 times. 10 times 8 is 80. I have a remainder of 5. My answer is 10 and 5 over 8. At this point I realized I made a mistake on the first one, so let's go back and look at that briefly. Notice that I wrote down a 4 instead of writing down an 8 inside the square, so I need to cross off that 4. I need to change it into an 8, and then if I add 8 plus 2, I'm not going to get 6, I'm going to get 10 and 5/8, which is the same answer as when I did it as improper fractions.